grab your pistols, portal guns, and whips. It's time for some Potluck. Hey everybody, welcome back to Comic Universe, the only nerd-centric thing you need in your life, here with C-Dubs.
What's up, guys?
And we're here with Potluck, where we talk about a mishmash of all the comic news, great and small, in one mashed up video.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So, let's get into it, starting off with our first thing, Nicolas Cage wanting to play the Joker. This came the frick out of nowhere.
Right, yeah. I just read about it today, just before we started the video, and I was just like, he can do crazy, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
but, like, was he even in the running for the Joker movie, which I guess is still happening?
I hope that thing doesn't happen, but I also hope that he's not in that role. I mean, again, he can bring something to it. He can play crazy really well, but it's when he's not in the complete psychotic mode is when it's just gonna...
Yeah. And plus we got, you know, Joaquin Phoenix already, like, in talks for the Joker movie, which, again, DC's just throwing stuff at the wall to see what it sticks at this point.
Yeah, there's Leonardo DiCaprio at first, and now Joaquin Phoenix, and now...
Nicolas Cage. Yeah, well, he's not in talks or anything. He just said out loud, I want to be the Joker! I want to be the Joker! Which, seeing his past track record of movies...
Yeah, for every one good Cage movie we get, we probably get a good 10 that are bad straight to video.
Well, not only that, like, have you seen the past few movies he's done? Like, these little, like, DirecTV exclusive films?
I haven't seen those ones.
No, they're like, he's just been doing these little, like, studio films rather than you hardly see him because he's, like, apparently he's, like, become toxic amongst, like, Hollywood, so.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I think that's the...
I would have to, bottom line here is I would have to give this one a pass. I mean, if it comes to fruition, he is picked. I mean, I'm not going to lie.
He's not even, like, picked. He's just, like...
I know, but if he is the one that they do go with, I will go see the movie, but I will not be happy about it.
Yeah. So that's really all we have to say about Nicolas Cage. It was just, like, so weird. We were like, we'll talk about it.
Now, on to other Joker news. Now, neither one of us are the biggest fans of Gotham. We watch it from time to time if something big or important or crazy or wacky is going to happen. And for those who aren't up to date or up to speed, you may want to just kind of skip a little bit ahead into the Potluck to find out, what other news is going on. But Jerome, who everybody thought was going to be the Joker, clearly is not the Joker because he has, he's dead and gone. But it turns out that his twin brother is now going to be living on in his legacy.
Yeah.
We got done watching, how that all came to pass, and it wasn't bad. It was okay.
It just kind of feels kind of weird that they kill Jerome, bring him back, make him pretty much proto-Joker, and then kill him off again to make his brother. It just feels very like they didn't know what they were doing. Like,
yeah, it's just
that's the line of Gotham on a whole. Like we're making it up as we go along.
Yeah, pretty much. But he looked okay by the very end of the scene. I mean, it is something that Joker would do, is kind of pass his essence on. It's happened in many different stories. It's obviously the Batman Who Laughs is essentially kind of the same concept of what has happened.
Yeah, and we're kind of doing the whole three Jokers thing right now in DC.
Yeah, so.
And I like the idea that Joker's an ideal much as Batman. Like it's kind of like a twisted version of that.
Right, exactly. I always say that they are literally like yin and yang.
Yeah.
Like you got this dark brooding, and then you got this light, funny one, and even when he's not funny, he's he's still got some sort of light charm to him, even when he's his darkest form. But
yeah, so
overall though, I mean, it seems a little interesting. So I mean, maybe it's enough to bring some people back, and having something classified as the Joker is going to bring some views for the show. So good luck to that. But again, I only watch it in very short passing.
Yeah. So the other thing is the Batmobile, which we got
I forgot about
that. Photos. Looks nice. I mean, it's just a black car, but it's not even like year one material, really.
Exactly. I mean, it's sleek. It's definitely something you can see a young kid wanting to drive and a rich kid having. So, I mean, in terms of the budget that the show is dealing with, I guess it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And the other thing, I kind of imagine he's gonna total it in a few episodes to be like, okay, back to the drawing board.
Yeah, time to pimp this out. Maybe he needs to get Exhibit in there, fix it up a bit for us.
Yeah. So
have him pimp his ride, you know.
Yeah. So.
So, I mean, let us know what you guys thought. If you guys are fans of the show, tell us why maybe we should get back into it, you know, what we're missing. And you know, maybe we'll start catching that and, you know, giving our thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I guess moving on to the next bit of DC news, and this one we're probably going to have it out on. So, unofficial set photos came out for Teen Titans, the new show for DC for the new streaming site, and we were all hyped from, you know, Hawk and Dove. I can't believe I said I'm hyped for Hawk and Dove after seeing the costume.
Right.
That just sounded wrong. But especially for the Dick Grayson Robin costume.
Now, we've kind of gone back and forth over this a couple of days, and with a bunch of our other friends, but you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And though they did already make a first impression with Hawk, Dove, and Robin, which were fantastic and gave us all the highest of hopes, these set
photos
leaks,
for Starfire, Beast Boy, and Raven, I should mention.
yes, kind of have taken that high and made us go, well, we don't even care about those anymore. Like, if this is even close to what we're getting, and regardless of you know, if it's exactly in the way the picture shows, like, this is what people are going into now thinking, and I think it could be detrimental to its streaming service, especially, like I mentioned to you, Zilla, that if it follows the model of Netflix in any way, shape, or form, where once you get it, the entire series or season is on there and available to watch, when everyone jumps on to get their free, you know, trial, they're going to watch Young Justice and it's be like, all right, peace, I'm canceling the service. You know, I just can't see this being a good thing, and especially with the track record in film that DC has had, they should want to be putting out, like, and I get it, this leaked, you know, but at this point now, we're a week in, they should have released something that looked even better. They should have, like,
I guarantee you, to save face, they're going to put something out soon.
But, you know, they should have already done so. Like, we had the mishap of, obviously, the DCEU. Regardless if you're a fan or not, it has not lived up to its potential. And then the wishy-washy on Shazam, Captain Marvel, his set leaks. Some people liked it.
I liked it.
Some people didn't.
I liked them.
Some people still criticize. Some people, it's okay, let's see what we get in final production. But those were not even a home. That wasn't even a home run. And now this, they need to step their game up. They need to do something.
My thing is that I think you could save. You can save Raven. You can save Beast Boy in those regards. Starfire is the one that really, really, like. Oh man, and it's not even because, like, yes, I'm well aware the actress is African American, but the thing is, Starfire is an alien who's orange and fictional. So I'm not going to give any gripe for, oh, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's because she's black. I mean, no, we've had great, you know, African American actors play.
That doesn't matter, to be honest.
That doesn't matter.
It's the attire.
It's the attire. She looks like a go-go dancer.
Yeah,
she looks like
being nice. He's being really, really nice. If you've never seen it, we'll leave a link in the description below so you guys can check out these photos. But he's being really nice. Yeah. It is really bad. Her hair looks like yarn. And again, it's nothing. I'm not bashing any culture. You know, I understand, you know, women, even, you know, white women, Asian women, they have hair extensions as well. They use weave. But her hair is horrible.
Yeah. And the costume, like, you could go to a convention and see, like, Starfire cosplays. That was dead on.
There are fans out there that cosplay on a shoestring budget that make 10 times the better outfits that sometimes Hollywood
and not even like
us.
You know, the cartoon Starfire, like regular comic book Starfire cosplay.
Absolutely.
And people have been saying, like, oh, you know, maybe they didn't want to keep it to make her look too sexualized. The point of Starfire...
Exactly.
Well, not because, like, oh, she's supposed to be over-sexualized. It's like, there's a point to her not wearing a lot of clothes because if she covers up, she dies. Like, she needs the sun. She needs the sun's radiation more than Superman to survive. So the less clothing on her, the better. Like, that keeps her alive.
And now, funny that you just mentioned this, and though I didn't put two and two together, but this really could worry me. Even though it's a very mature theme, which I would be really surprised if they go with, but she is a very sexualized character, obviously. That is kind of almost the point to her. What if maybe, considering she does kind of look like a hooker, that maybe that's the route that they're going
That's what now that you mention, I'm a little worried about that. Because I don't, even though, you know...
Sexualized doesn't mean you're a hooker.
She's, and we all know Starfire is way more than her looks.
Yeah,
we know she's just a great character all around.
Right, all the way around.
And we're saying all this, and we're kind of disappointed because I've been, if it weren't for Teen Titans, I would not have gotten into comic books, and I'm of course referring to the '05 animated show.
Yes.
And from then on. So, needless to say, I've been a fan of not just the cartoon, but the comics and all that, and the characters. So, and I hate to sound like a raging fanboy, but this really hurts,
Yeah, man, it really does. I mean, there's a part of me that hopes that maybe what's going on here and why she looks so wonky and hosh-posh and just kind of thrown together, that maybe because she's not used to human customs.
And the other thing is, like, she's not even wearing, like, makeup to, like,
right.
Maybe, like, they'll go around it like how they do in Supergirl with Martian Manhunter, is that, like, maybe she looks as she tries to take, like, a human form.
Right.
Which I don't know, like...
But I'm thinking more since, because, sometimes she's not stupid, but she's, like, kind of airheaded in the sense of she just doesn't know the custom. So maybe she just threw on some stuff and thought it was normal just to throw the stuff she has on, and, she's walking down the street thinking she's all fine, okay, and people are just like, what's wrong with her,
Yeah.
So maybe, and again,
And the other thing is that we didn't really take into account is that they may be taking a lot from Jeff Lemire's Earth 1 books, where StarFire, like, I think if I remember right, in those books, StarFire, like, can change her body type to look like it could be the case there.
It could be, but again, I mean, when you do things like that, it allows you the freedom to be more original, sure, when you're taking a lesser-known version.
Yeah.
Okay, than the main continuity. But we all know the reason everybody wants the main continuity, or as close as to Teen Titans the animated as you can get.
Yeah.
If you can't pull from the main continuity, then you need to go towards the animated, because that's the second, maybe even more popular than the comics nowadays.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I just feel that DC, not in their comic books, just we're talking clearly just in their film and TV, minus their animated. Okay, well, even they're animated with Teen Titans Go, but they just have not been serving us the best work, and I think they need to show face to their fans and to the because honestly, who's going to be getting that DC streaming? The diehards, first and foremost, not the casual people. They're not going to be the ones flocking to it. We're going to be the ones that make it sink or swim.
Yeah.
So they need to show some face to us. I think that we're worth it, and they just, they seem to not care.
Yeah.
But we'll see in the next couple weeks.
We'll see. Like, I feel like there's going to be an official set photo to really, like, save face on.
But I would say, and thinking in terms of a company owner and in business form, that if within a week's time we don't get something, either to forget that happened or based on this show,
or try to explain that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then 2 weeks go by and I'm like, you've already failed. Like, there's no face. Like, I don't care at this point, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But let us know what you guys think. I mean, I know the whole internet has talked about it already till they're blue in the face. But guys, let us know if you liked it, what your thoughts are. What do you think the takes are going to be going? Personally, we didn't really. We spent so much time on Firestar, but real quick, just my thoughts on the other two. The frosted tips, I think, are really outdated. I get that he's not going to be green, and that's fine. I can deal with that. Give him green clothes, make him look a damn fucking green.
Well, that's
Ranger.
that's like his Doom Patrol costume.
I know. But again, the green frosted tips are like a Guy Fieri thing. I don't want to see that. And then
Raven, I think, like, from my opinion, looks like the best out of the three because
she's passable in the terms of being emo, I guess. But I really do think, and this is not a shot to the actress at all, I really think it looks like a 12-year-old boy. And that kind of freaks me out. I don't really, I don't need Raven sexualized or anything like that. That's not the point to her. But I see it's something out of.
Yeah. And also, you're probably wondering, well, aren't you guys being a little hard because they're wearing those big parkas? Not necessarily, because the thing about, and I understand they're unofficial set photos, and the thing is, when they're not wearing when they're not on set, they have to wear those parkas to A, protect the costume, and B, they were shooting in, what was it, Seattle?
Yeah.
And it's pretty freaking cold right now. So we are fully aware that those parkas are not going to be in the show.
It's funny you said Seattle, because that's what I was going to say. I said they remind me as something that would have come out of Twilight, the two of them. So
that's the thing. Like, we were fully, like, before anyone says, "Whoa, those big stupid parkas aren't going to be." We know.
Yeah, I mean,
we know. We just didn't address them because we use we have common sense.
But just overall, it's just beyond subpar, and it's still not living up to its potential.
Yeah.
That's where I think the end of the discussion comes when, if there's any of our fans out there that are diehards that are gonna accuse us of being Marvel fanboys, is regardless of what you feel about Marvel and their cinematic universe, they're at least living up to their potential. They may not home run every single thing they do, but again, no one has paved the way for them. They are trendsetters. No one gave them the blueprint. They are creating the blueprint. So they're entitled to make mistakes. But what's funny enough is they're not making nearly as many mistakes as home runs as they are. And then on the other side, DC, who could follow some of the tropes that Marvel has put forward, not all, because I get it. DC will be stuck between a rock and a hard place. Basically, if they try to mirror exactly the way DC does, us fanboys can be like, well, they're just trying to be Marvel. And if they don't, they're going to go, well, why don't they try to be like Marvel? So they're kind of in a really bad situation, and I get it, but they're not living up to their potential, and that's where I get frustrated, because I love these characters just as much as I love the Marvel characters. Regardless of who my favorite superhero is, which is on the Marvel side, I love Batman, Superman, all these guys equally.
Yeah.
And just as that show was for you, the 1960s, even though I'm not that old, guys, but my mom, literally, we would binge watch all the 1960s Batman. It was on syndication when I was a kid, and that was my introduction. Like, I came into superheroes through Batman, through that show. I love, and it's just so sad when I look up and I go, that's not living up to its potential.
Yeah. So let us know what you think. Moving on now to a bit of more news. Not so much comic, I guess kind of comic.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got some news regarding Terminator 6, which I forgot was a thing, because who gives a shit?
But it's Cameron, so he's supposed to be coming back to be doing it. So that
is he?
Yes, he's got the rights to it. Yes, he's got the rights to it.
All right.
So that's what gives me hope for this.
I because after Terminator Genesis, I was like, I'm done.
But what also is another thing that this is rumor, okay? But I read that there's a chance that he goes back, and this is a direct sequel to Judgment Day. He's going to forget the rest.
Oh. And I actually, like, this is coming from someone, and I know this sounds like total heresy, but I like Terminator 3. But not like
I don't mind it.
I don't mind, like, there's, like, when TX and the Terminator throwing down, that's a really good fight. And
there's good things about
like,
it.
it's not a good movie, it's like a fun summer film. Right?
But also, you got to think, man, Terminator 2 is probably the greatest sequel ever made. Now, that's debatable, I get it.
Well, that's right up there with, like, Empire Strikes Back.
And Aliens and Godfather, but there are some, but...
When you think of really good sequels...
It's top 5 sequel of all time, and it's probably, for the longest time, if not, well, maybe not now that we have Avengers, but for the longest time, it was the biggest summer blockbuster action movie of all time, Judgment Day. So it's got huge shoes to fill. Any Terminator from here on out gets judged against that movie. So, when Terminator 3, I'm with you. It's not as bad as people make it out to be.
But it's not great. No. But Salvation, I can tolerate.
I like the concept. I love
in
the
theory,
concept.
it's a good idea.
Right.
Genesis.
I still want to see more of that time frame of the Terminator universe.
Yeah,
I love that time frame, but
yeah, but of course we have to go with friggin' John Connor and like everything. That's the other thing. Like, I'm tired of John Connor's story. Like, I'm sorry, guys.
Well, supposedly this is going to be.
Passing of the torch.
Passing of the torch.
Like like with Star Wars now.
Right. So that's going to be kind of cool to see. But the big news about it is who they got to play in the movie. As a Terminator. And it's none other than Ghost Rider.
Gabriel Luna.
From Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was really big on to that, to that show. I've kind of fallen off a little bit.
Yeah. I went back for Ghost Rider, but then dropped off after.
Yeah, and I have every intention on going back and finishing it up. Very passable actor, does a good job. It's what I think of Ghost Rider for the most part. So I think he can maybe pull it off. I mean, I kind of hope he gets a little thicker. I don't need him like Arnold Schwarzenegger, just a little thicker.
No, I think just a little more build to it. Like,
I mean, I know they can do wonders with CGI and camera angles, but I just, but then again, the what's his name from the T-1000, he was pretty slender. But, it all depends on what Terminator version we're getting, what version of the robot, whatever.
And we don't know, like, who he's aligned with. We don't, we don't know if he's going to be, like, reprogrammed or...
if he's going to be the good one or the bad one, so we'll see. Yeah. But yeah, pretty cool news. I mean, I'm always... Especially since, and again, you didn't know this, I guess, but now that Cameron owns the rights, I don't know if he's making, directing, or writing the movie, but he purchased the rights to Terminator, so that's what gives me hope.
I think that was the thing, like, Genesis did so bad, like, Cameron came in and was like, gimme!
I mean, as bad as Genesis was, there was even a few points that I did like. Like, I did like the Arnold's portrayal of an older version of the model. If you've never seen the movie, it can kind of get confusing because he goes back even further than when he first came back, so it gets a little wonky, but I think he did a decent job, but the rest, just making Connor the bad guy, I think was a really bad idea.
Yeah.
You know, but spoiler alert if you've never seen the movie.
Oh, a movie.
But you're not missing much. It's clearly, it's by far the worst installment, regardless of what's her name that's in it. She's pretty hot, but anyway, that's our Terminator news, and moving on, just something that's really, I guess, heartwarming in a sense, but also worrisome.
It's also really depressing. So we're about to,
talk real talk here. So basically,
for context, for those who are not in the know. Oh, you were.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Over the past couple of weeks, maybe a little over a month now, there's been some reports that our beloved Stan Lee has been a victim of elderly abuse from his daughter and her friend and other family members, that he's been being abused since the passing of his wife. And they've been getting a lot of hate mail, death threats, the whole nine.
I mean, even Kevin Smith said, "Hey, come live with me."
Yeah, basically. So there's been a lot of reach out to Stan Lee, of course, because he means so much to so many people.
Yeah.
And again, so he recently released a video. Okay, I'll let you go ahead with the video part.
So Stan Lee recently revealed a video filmed by one of the guys who was allegedly being abused, and he talked about, no, none of this is true. This was all fabricated by an ex-lawyer of his, apparently.
That he had hired just for a few hours to a couple of days.
Yeah.
That apparently he said that he signed some paperwork stating that this was all true. So we'll see. And I'm sure if it isn't true, I've
always had this sense that it just feels like really the daughter just out of nowhere just started, out of how long,
Right.
And it just felt like all of it. I mean, if it was true, I was sad regardless, but but at the same time I was like, something doesn't feel right.
Right. Exactly.
And he brought up a really good point of, we live in an era now where everything is just suddenly true. This is another case of fake news.
Right, exactly. And hopefully, I mean, yes, and there's also now some people saying that, his daughter's forcing him to do that. Let's be real, guys. We live in an age where he's still a public figure. He's still massive, massive star, even in his older age. He steps out his front door, cameras are popping, whoa, look, Stan Lee's here. So it's not like they can just get away with it, He's also a grown-ass man, and if he was being a victim, he would find a way to let somebody know.
Someone would, he would be able to reach out to somebody.
He's got publicists, he's got people that, he's got people that take care of him, to the media, that would catch on if she was doing these bad things. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure at some point, did we all forget that, Disney backs him?
Right, exactly.
Kevin Smith backs him.
Yeah,
someone would have had to have...
Right, he's had so many friends and families. People would have figured it out if this is really going on.
Yeah.
But what's another thing that I want to say real quick to everybody out there in the universe is that when something like this does happen, it's a big deal. Elderly abuse, child abuse, abusive relationships in general, male or female. It's quick, especially if they're, idols of ours, people that we look up to and celebrities. We don't just jump the gun. There's no reason to just giving death threats to people until we know what's going on. We as comic book fans, we're quick to do stupid things like that. From, killing Spider-Man when Doc Ock took over, getting death threats for something like that. We need to stop that hate, guys. It's just ridiculous that we do that.
We're just fuming a stereotype.
Right, exactly. And it's what makes, we're in such a limelight, so popular now, we don't want to tarnish the genre that we love so much.
The other thing is that, we really need to start, really digging into, certain information, what can we really... And I know, really don't go in wide-eyed every time, but at the same time, always go in... hope. I'm trying to think of the right words here. Again, we live in an age where
just go in there with the right intention is the bottom line.
And the other thing is
help
think for yourself.
Right, exactly.
If you I've always been a guy who's regardless on where I stand. It's good is good, bad is bad. I've kind of been I'll call a spade regardless of what side you're on.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. But there are sometimes shades of gray, but not
I got
always.
more remember that think December, towards the end of the year, there was this kid who got videotaped for being bullied, and a lot of people were flocking to him.
And his parents were the bad ones.
Yeah, he and his entire family were white supremacists. So,
yeah, exactly.
So we all got literally conned at the end of the year for it.
Even
Chris Evans was conned by it.
And I don't want to touch too much on that, especially since it's so old, but I do want to say this about that situation is bullying is bullying, and that kid doesn't deserve to be bullied, especially since he's being raised by his parents. But that whole situation again, we were conned, and his parents were the bad ones, were the evil ones. Children, man, they are the victims in situations like that. So regardless of what side of the fence that they're on, but guys, just we want you guys to think for yourselves, and if something like this ever happens again, or if it turns out to be true, our goal should be wanting to help Stan or any elderly person, any child in abuse, any abusive person. Our goal should be to help them, not hurt the people.
Yeah, violence begets only more violence.
Exactly, especially.
And I know it's a hippie thing to say.
Oh, but it's true. At the end of the day, it's true. Yeah. We're not going to leave you guys on that. If you have any thoughts on that, if you guys want to, maybe help in any way, I'll leave a description in the video to where you may be able to help elderly abuse and things like that. Let us know what your thoughts are. If you believe it, if you don't. Whatever you may think or feel on that, but we're going to not leave on a bad note. We're going to jump into some cool 3 things we're going to knock out the park here. We've seen some trailers that come out. Two that came out of nowhere, really.
Mm-hmm.
One that
got announced like Sunday, and we were waiting for it, but then it was like, oh, it's 10 o'clock, and then it showed up on WrestleMania, as I recall.
Yeah, it did. But anyway, so go ahead, man. This is your star.
So we're going to talk real quick about trailers for the second Han Solo trailer, the trailer for the Meg, and finally for the new trailer for Incredibles 2. Han Solo, the second trailer, I like this more than the first one. It just gives that kind of Western cowboy feel.
Yeah, it made me feel way better on the film. Yeah. I'm all in at this point. It looked really cool.
I'm still 50-50 on the guy playing Han.
He did do better though. He does seem a little more Han-ish.
Yeah.
It's also such a big role.
But let's face it, Donald Glover as Lando. I was the moment he got cast, I was like, done. I'm in.
They could have said he was Han Solo. I think I would have been okay with that too, to be honest with you. The dude can do no wrong in my opinion.
So it looks like a fun Western, and it really puts my mind at ease for a lot of this film. Disney so far has, in my opinion, done really great with all the Star Wars films.
Overall, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's some hits and some misses, and we can all debate over the last film. Some people want to tear their eyes out. Some people want to cheer it on. Yeah. But Rogue One, I think, is amazing, and the first one wasn't too bad, but I think overall I'd give them an 8 out of 10. Yeah. In what they're doing so far.
I think that, I think this is going to be good, and let's face it, Disney's going to be making a lot of green these next 2 months. Infinity War, then Deadpool 2,
Black Panther.
Well, I mean, in the month of May.
Sure. Okay. Fine. Maybe that, but they've already made what, 400 million, 400 billion. I don't even know how much they made already.
They're about to make some serious bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh? I always win.
I read a statistic actually that, not a statistic, a fact that just since acquiring Marvel, so they spent 4 point something billion to get Marvel when they first purchased them.
It was 4.2.
Yeah, so just after what happened with Black Panther, which is still grossing them money, don't mind you, they've already made 15 billion. So I think they're kind of in the green on that.
Yeah, they made a good investment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But when I mentioned Deadpool 2, it was like, I know that it's not acquired yet, but
it's asset. It'll eventually turn into assets for them. So
I'm really looking forward for Han Solo 2. Now let's move on to the Meg real quick. The Meg is actually, I read this book. It was actually based off a book.
I forgot you did that. Yeah.
In high school, I read it, and I love the book. And this movie's been in development hell for about over a decade. So when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh shit, yeah, it's gonna be great. And then I watched the trailer. Now I'm not. Now when I did my initial stuff on my own channel talking about it, and I went around sounding like this guy was like, oh, it's not gonna follow the book. I was like, but I gave it some thought since then, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch it. I'm not gonna let my my love of the book really change how I feel about the movie, because I should figure Hollywood does that all the time. So, and I don't want to be marked as that one jagoff who's just
but there is also sometimes where the existing property in a book and the movie that comes forth will have departures, but they can live in the same space and be equally as good. I'm not saying this movie's going to be good or bad. I'm just saying you got your Harry Potters, you got your Jurassic Parks. Those clearly are two fandoms that clearly both are equally as good. Yeah. Like, sure, there may be this and that, one over the other, but overall, both franchises are home runs, you know.
So there's 6 books in this series. This was the start. But I think the main thing with this is that I'm not the big. I like Jason Statham, but I'm not like, oh man, Jason Statham all the time. But him playing the main character, which in the book is like this very, he's this down on his luck blue collar guy, and Statham's nothing like that, and that's what really like took me out of the film. And
well, he's definitely not like that anymore. I mean, maybe he had some humble beginnings, but he's definitely not that anymore.
And I like the trailer starting, like it gave that kind of horror feel, and then it suddenly had a tone shift.
Yeah, that's what I was saying to you. I was like, the first half of this trailer is amazing. Like, the first time you see the shark and he bites on the glass underwater, like, amazing. Like, adds, like, that's what I want. And then you see some of the cast, and they are kind of known for more comedic roles. I'm like, uh-oh. And then the music shifts, which make the songs element make sense to the film. Yeah. And I think there's a possibility that it might not be... it may not take itself too serious, and sometimes that's a win.
But I don't need that, and I understand that we're living in like this summer alone. We've gotten so many kaiju films,
right? So I'm going to support it just for that alone.
We've had Rampage and all that, and I don't need the thing is that I don't want every kaiju film to be this mindless bloodbath of just carnage and stuff. Because you can do like Gojira, 1954 was a metaphor for the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and Japan living through that. The whole point of the kaiju film was to show, to be a metaphor for certain things. And yeah, sometimes I just want giant monster movies, and other times I'd like some change.
A little meat, little meat and potatoes to it, or sometimes even a silly.
Like it's not every superhero movie needs to follow the formula, or
No, you're right. There
and I want the same with kaiju films,
Yeah, there's different genres within a genre, basically. We can have. So I mean, I think this movie's going to have some comedic elements to it, which I know Marvel gets some flack on trying to be serious one minute and then quickly having a quick whip at the end of every line, and then some people get taken away from it. I think this movie may suffer from that just because of looking at some of the cast. There's going to be some cliche moments. Clearly, every shark movie has them. There's definitely going to be some comedic timing issues, I think. But I think overall it looks decent enough, and I'm going to support it because I'm a kaiju fan like yourself. So overall, I'm interested. I'm in. I may not rush out to go see it opening night, but it's definitely a movie theater watch for me.
So I guess we'll move on to the last trailer, which is Incredibles 2, and God, I've been waiting for this movie for years.
Man, I can't wait. This is cool. My opinion. This is my favorite Pixar. Clearly, I'm jaded because this is my fandom. This is my niche. Toy Story's close second.
But and it really sucks that this has probably been the best, I guess you could say, Fantastic Four film.
Clearly. But dude, it looked awesome. It looks amazing. I can't wait.
But I can already tell you, like, that villain we saw, the Screenslaver, it's that guy who's trying to be like, oh, I'm bringing superheroes back. And I was like, well, hello, villain.
Yeah.
I was like, the moment that happened, I was like, yep, you're the
bad guy. Yeah, exactly.
And you're voiced by Better Call Saul. You're voiced by Saul Goodman. You're already bad.
You're a little tarnished from the beginning.
Yeah.
Also we might get lucky. I'm hoping maybe it's not as easily as, because I thought the exact same thing. So I was like, he's the villain. But maybe he's more working.
And Brad Bird's been working on this for years.
Hopefully he's working for the villain. He's not the villain. I think that would be a good twist.
Yeah, that would be.
We'll see.
Yeah, the other thing is, because again, this movie's been in the works for so many years. It can't be just so generic and all that. So
yeah, exactly. My only after watching that, Zilla, the only issue I have in it, it's funny, so it's not really that big of an issue, is Frozone's wife that we never get to see or meet, and how she just continuously yells at him. I think the joke is already, I know we've only had one movie, but I think the joke has ran its course, so I don't think it's needed. It still was kind of humorous, but I think at this point it might be a little nicer just to kind of meet her at least and maybe get something more from her than just yelling at him all the time, because it makes you feel bad for him,
Yeah. So I've been sold on this since trailer 1. You don't need.
I was sold on it from concept, but.
Yeah. Well, I've been sold on this since like the beginning, but the first trailer solidified it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and I will be stepping over kids.
Right.
To watch
Oh,
this
for sure. Yeah.
Get out my way! I'm waiting
Snot
for
those
the
kids out of my way. Yeah. No, and let's just be real. Listen, Disney has its fair share of haters. This movie's gonna be awesome. Pixar, I can't think of a Pixar movie that's been bad. Even
Well, The Good Dinosaur.
yeah, there's some maybe. I don't even know. Was that even Pixar? Or was it just the same technology?
That was Pixar. I think that was Pixar. Yeah.
But you know, Disney 9 times out of 10, almost 10 times out of 10 is a home run. Okay, so let's give it that slack and let's just be ready for it. And I'm sure it's going to be, no pun intended, incredible.
You were dying to do that. So yes, there you go, guys. There's our news for the week.
Yeah, so that's the potluck. Hope you guys are full. And God, tell them what we're going to do next week. See him in the universe.
Oh, I thought we had something planned, but no.
Curveball at him.
But once again, see you once more in the universe.